Om Shuklam Varadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarvabhignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varadhe Kamarupini Vidyarambham karishyami siddhir bhavatu me sada yenakshara samamnayam adhigamya maheshwarat kritsnam vyakarnam proktam tasmai paninaye namaha vakyakaram vararuchim Bhashyakaram Patanjalim Paninim Sutrakarancha Pranatosmi Munitrayam Vagartha Viva Samprikto Vagartha Pratipattaye Jagatah Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwarao Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Om Namaste. So in our last class, we were starting to look at Manas, and so we'll continue with Manas today and Brahman. So we were seeing Brahman in our last class and Manas. And Manas will be on page 144 in the book, so you can open that up, 144, and we'll chant our Maheshwara Sutra and our Supratyaya. Om A-I Un Rilek E-Ong I-Ouch Haya Varata Lan Nyama Garnanam Jabhanya Gardhadash Java Gardhadash Kapha Chata Chata Tav Kapai Shashrasar Hal Iti Maheshwarani Sutrani Om Su Aujas Ort Shas Ta Bhyam Bhis Nge Bhyam Bhyas Ngasi Bhyam Bhyas Ngas Os Ni Os Sup. Okay, so, sorry, one second. So we're going to start with Manas-śabdha. So this is us ending in Napumsaka Linga. After Manas-śabdha, we'll see two more shabdas, and then this book will essentially be over. So we're near the end of this book, and we can, yeah, and we'll talk about what we want to do afterwards. Okay. So page 144, us ending Napumsaka Linga. Manas-śabdha. So we saw that, the word manas is mind, but there's a lot of other common us ending Napumsaka words that we see commonly, right? Like tamas and rajas, we see those pretty commonly. Rajas here means dust, but it can also mean, just like we know, like rajas and activity. It's that quality of maya, which is active in nature, and tamas, which is lethargic or brings lethargy, right? So tamas, but it also means darkness. We see tejas, brilliance, bright. Chandas, Veda, we see that very commonly also, Chandas, Veda. Chandas can also mean the type of meter, right? There's different, like Gayatri Chandas is the type of meter, right? and so, but Chandas can also mean the Veda as a whole. So if you say I'm studying chandas, you could mean I'm studying all the different types of meters, but or it could be that I'm studying the Veda, right? Yashas. So these are all very common. We're gonna look at these. Really, all of these words here we see pretty commonly. So we'll see some examples as well. Okay. So let's look at this. We started seeing this so far. So first of all, just a reminder that in Napumsakalinga, the first and second cases are specially modified in this way, right? So you see that long ikara for dual and short ikara for plural. Okay, so that'll come in for these two cases over here. But number one is pretty simple, 1-1. Is that when we have 1-1, the sakara at the end of the pada becomes a visarga, right? So manas just becomes manaha, right? We've seen that pretty commonly. When you have sakara at the end of the pada, it becomes a visarga. So manaha. And then in the 1-2, that ba section, 1-2, it's a long E. So it becomes manasi, right? So we're just adding that. 1-2 for Napumsakalinga is long ikara. So is 2-2. So 1-2 and 2-2 will both be manasi, right? So far, manaha, manasi. Now 1-3 is a little bit different. So we're going to spend some time with 1-3. We'll need to see a sandhi rule as well to kind of fully make the form of 1-3. Without even looking at all of that the detail, we see the word is manansi. Manansi. Okay? So manaha, manasi, manamsi. Okay, second case, manaha, manasi, manamsi. Okay, let's try that again. Manaha, manasi, manamsi. Okay, manaha, manasi, manamsi. Okay, picking up another word. Let's take Tejas. My brother's name is Tejas, so I have an affinity to the name Tejas. So, ready? 1-1. Tejaha, Tejasi, Tejamsi. Tejaha, Tejasi, Tejamsi. Yeah, so it's a bit funny. I remember, yeah, I didn't know that early on, and I had difficulty with this form, and so this is how it comes up. Okay, let's see how it's made, and we'll see some details around this. So we know that 1-3 in Napumsakalinga, we add this short ikara. Right? So manas plus e. Now, being sakara ending pratipadika, in the sarvanamasthana section, an extra letter nakara is inserted after the last vowel of the pratipadika. Okay, nakara is inserted after the last vowel. So you see manas, right? So last akara is somewhere here. So we add another nakara, just na without the at the end, right? So that's why it looks like this half form. Okay, when we write it here, we're not adding an akara at the end, right? So just the na, the nakara, without the right? So just na, so we get manans, right? Manans plus e. Manansi, right? Now, the penultimate, that second to last of the extra nakara is elongated. So the second to last akara, or sorry, that's the penultimate akara of the extra na is elongated. So you basically that that's there before the na we just added becomes long. Okay, so it becomes manans. Manans plus e, so it becomes manansi. So just without looking at all these words for a second, just closing your eyes, right? What we do is we have manas plus e. Then we add a nakara after the last we get manans plus e. Then the only akara that's left becomes dirgha, so it becomes manans plus e. And then finally, the na becomes anuswara, and we're going to see there's a sandhi rule that tells us why. It becomes a anuswara, so the little mindu, the little dot bindu there, that becomes manansi. Okay, so let's quickly look at that rule since we're on this. Okay, you don't need to open up your Sandhi book, just you can follow along with the screen. If you want to, you can, but we're not going to be on this for too long. This is 8324 if you do want to look it up in your index, because our page numbers are different, but it's 8324 is the name of the Sandhi rule. This is under the title of Anuswaraha, number 7. Okay, so first let's just remember when do we get anuswara? Okay, when followed by any consonant, ma at the end of a pada is replaced by anuswara. Okay, this is a pretty simple rule. When you have a ma kara at the end of a word and it's followed by a consonant, it becomes anuswara. Okay, so Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam. Then you see that makara becomes anuswara. Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam. So that's how we get these anuswara. If it's followed by a vowel, then it will stay makara. Yeah. Okay. So that's the overall general rule that we need to know. Now there's a more detailed rule that we see after that. Okay. This is going to sound complicated. It's not as complicated as it looks. Okay. When followed by, so this is another anuswara rule. When followed by jal, makara and nakara, not at the end of a pada, is replaced by anuswara. Okay. So there's 3 things that we need to look at, and this is what's brought up here. Okay, so we're going to break this down a little bit more closely. First of all, we're looking at na as well as makara, nakara as well as makara. Okay, in the previous, we were just seeing makara. Now we're seeing na and ma. They're both subject to change here. Okay, also in the previous rule, we saw that it has to be the end of the pada. Here, it's not at the end of the pada, it's somewhere within the pada. Okay, it's somewhere within the pada. The third part of this rule is jal will follow it. Okay, jal will immediately follow it. Okay, what is jal? Jal is, so if we have our Maheshwara Sutra, right? You see jakara. Yeah, jakara is 4th of the class. Ja, and goes all the way to this end. So that's 4th of the class all the way to the sibilants. One way of remembering this is a consonant that's not a nasal or semivowel. Okay, any consonant that's not nasal, doesn't sound like it's coming from your nose, or it's not one of these hayavarat, then it's going to be a jal. Okay, so if I were to write this here, I would write 4th class 1. But now the main place we see this is for us ending napumsakalinga. Okay, what we're looking at here. This is really the only place. I mean, no, that's not true. It's not the only place. This is one of the main places that we see this rule of being applied. Okay, so knowing that, here's a simplified version of the rule. When I have a nakara, which is not at the end of a pada, and it's followed by sakara. Okay, so when you have nakara followed by sakara, it's going to become an anusvara. Okay, when I'm nakara followed by sakara, but they're both in a word, in the word, then they're going to be replaced by anusvara. So for example, I have chandas plus e. Right, first it becomes chandans plus e, right? We saw that earlier. You get the nakara addition and it becomes dirgha. So it becomes chandans plus e. Now I have nakara followed by sakara. So then this becomes anusvara. So chandamsi. I can say that because sakara is within jal, right? But again, this is really where most of the places where we see it. So now let's look at some of these rules. We'll practice it. So patapams plus e, right? I have nakara followed by sakara within the word. So it's going to become tapamsi, but with an anusvara. I have to write it, huh? Manans plus e. Manamsi. Yeah? Thumbs up or thumbs to the side or thumbs down? Yeah, we'll come back to the Shashivarnam Chaturbhuja. Okay. Vajams, I've nakara in the middle of the word, followed by jal or followed by sakara. That's gonna become anusvara. So vajamsi. Okay. So a complicated way of saying that the nakara is going to become an anusvara when we see any of these types of words. Okay. All right. We'll also see this rule applied in ascending masculine, but it's not too different. We'll see that when we come to that next time. Where is an example of where makara? Here's an example when if we get, so for example, the verb here. Okay, when we're making a verb, I have nam dhatu and I'm adding this syati. We haven't seen ending syati. Okay, but let's just say it. I'm making this verb nam plus syati. So I have makara followed by sakara. This is going to be nam syati. So that's an example of where makara comes in. Okay, but we don't see that as much right now. We're going to see a lot of nakara followed by sakara. Okay, and one question there was in the chat about Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam. Now this is with the earlier rule, when I have makara followed by a consonant. This is the simple version of, this is the simpler Anuswara rule. There's two Anuswara rules. One we just saw, this is the simpler one. So I have Shashivarnam, and this makara is followed by a consonant. Because it's followed by a consonant, it becomes Anuswara. You see in the, right here, it's very small. It's within the, because of the type of the computer, it goes within the hook. So it's a little hidden there. It doesn't need to be exactly in the hook there, but that's how it's typed. Okay, Har Prasadji, I see you have a question. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes, Mahodaya. Your book is different from my book.
Oh, okay.
Because 8324, it does not have all these things stated on the top, like when followed by gel, those things.
Oh, it doesn't have this.
The whole thing. There are
This whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay. It's seemingly when we make new versions, they get worse. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah.
So I will.
Yeah, supposedly this is the new version, but
yeah, that's what I was saying. Somehow when new versions come out, they get it makes it more difficult.
Yeah. Dhanyawad.
So this is something to note. This part we don't really need as much, but this is helpful, right? Writing down these three parts of the rule.
Let me take down 1 second.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a question going back while you're writing that down. Does Chaturbhujam get Anuswara? So, Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet. So it depends, right? If we're saying, so the sentence, the line ends with Chaturbhujam. That sentence ends there. So we usually put a line there and we start Prasannavadanam Dhyayet. Because of that, we don't have that sandhi at Chaturbhujam. Even if they were together, if they were together, we would put that sandhi rule there, right? Because I have makara followed by pakara, a consonant, right? So it depends on where the full stop is added, the period is added. It depends on where you break. So sometimes you'll see in Gita verses as well, we break every quarter. And so we won't apply this Anuswara, for example. But some traditional ashrams like Kailash ashram and Rishikesh, they won't break every quarter necessarily. And so you'll see that sandhi applied there. So anyways, more than you wanted to know. But. Okay. So this is page 69 in your sandhi book. Okay, I'm going to switch from here. Hope that's okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So just coming back to this, the whole point of this is that we get this final form of manamsi. I'll come back to that while we're taking the break, okay? If you haven't written that down. Okay, so the whole point we were making this manamsi. Okay, now let's keep going with this. We're going to see a few different sandhis today. So here we have manas plus bhyam. Okay, so now what we know is in the pada section, what is called pada is actually the anga, right? We were talking about this in our last class, right? The anga is called the pada. So we have a sakara at the end of a pada. If we have sakara at the end of a pada, what happens? it becomes visarga, right? Just like 1-1, we saw manaha. So now I have manaha plus bhyam. Okay, now if I manaha plus bhyam, then I do namo namaha sandhi. There's a visarga sandhi rule. Okay, namo namaha quickly. We'll look at namo namaha. Quickly, it's just when you have akara before the visarga and it's followed by a soft consonant, hush. Okay, soft consonant is all of these letters here. Sorry, not just that, these 3 rows. So not kaka, cha cha, tar tar, da. Those are all hard. These are all soft. So when you have a visarga followed by a soft consonant, it's going to become okara. Right? So we've seen this a bunch of times. Uktaha Rishikesha becomes Ukto Rishikesha. Tataha Yate becomes Tato Yate. Coming back to what our point is that when we're doing this, we have manaha plus bhyam. Bhakara is a soft consonant. So it's going to become mano bhyam. Yeah? So manas becomes manaha, manaha becomes mano. So mano bhyam, mano bihi. Okay, so let's see all of them except for 7-3. So 1-1, sakara becomes visarga, manaha, manasi, manamsi. Okay, let's all say that together. Manaha, manasi, manamsi. Manaha, manasi, manamsi. Then 3-1, we're just adding the pratyaya, aka, right? So manasa, it becomes namo namaha sandhi, so mano bhyam, mano bihi. Manas plus a, so we get manase, mano bhyam, mano bhyaha. Manasaha, right? Manas plus us comes manasaha, mano bhyam, mano bhyaha. Manasaha, manasoho, manasam, manasi, manasoho, and then we'll see this, manasu. Okay. He manaha, he manasi, he manamsi. The only last thing with sakara, the 7-3, is that just what we saw, that this is still in the pada section, the su, right? So because of this, the sakara becomes visarga. So we get manaha plus su. Now, when sakara follows the visarga, so when visarga is followed by sakara, you get an optional sa. We've also seen this earlier in visarga sandhi, but you can get an optional sakara. So it can either be manahasu or manasu. So manasu, or it's written like this. Yeah. So they're both options are there. Okay. So let's yeah, how are we feeling about this? We're feeling okay? Okay, let me know in the chat. Let's look at some examples quickly. I know we were looking at 7 and 8. Let's start with number 8. Okay, this is in the back of the book. Around page 185, maybe 186. Exercise number 43. Now these examples, we're going to see, I think we can mostly do I think we can do most of these. I think you'll be able to do these on your own as well. So we're going to pick up number 8. I'll do number 8. If anyone wants to take a shot and do number 9, then they can do that, and I'll help guide them if we have time. Okay, so let's look at number 8. 8, etad jnanam manobihi prapyate, right? So we always pick up the verb first, tingantam padam. When you're thinking of the tingantam padam, there's 2 parts to it, right? Dhatu and ting pratyaya. So dhatu for prapyate. It's really ap dhatu, but you pra upasarga. So pra plus ap for prapyate. Okay. Ap, I have to look that up. It might be 4a. We have to find that out. But ap means to a pra plus ap means to obtain, or to obtain. This is lat lakara. We'll say karmani prayoga because we have this yakara and atmanepada. Right? Lat lakara, karmani prayoga. Then we see purushan vachanam. So pratama purusha ekavachanam. So prapyate. So he, she, it is obtained or is attained. What is attained? We have to look for first case. We know manobihi is not the first case, so we know that's probably going to be 3-3, right? It won't be 4-3 because that's manobhyaha. Won't be 5-3 is manobhyaha. Let's say 1-1 and 1-1. Right? These might be wrong. We're going to just try them out. So let's look at jnanam. Jnanam is like palam. Jnanam, jnane, jnanani. Jnanam, jnane, jnane, jnanani. Right? So it could be 1-1 or 2-1. But we'll pick up jnanam. Subantam padam. Remember, we're going back to the beginning. What is subantam padam made up of? Pratipadikam and supratyaya. So the pratipadikam of jnanam is jnana, akaranta, napumsakalinga, meaning knowledge. Supratyaya, what's our case? We're saying pratama vibhakti, ekavachanam, and then vibhakti artha. We're in kartri or karmani prayoga. We're in karmani prayoga. So this will be karmani pratama to prapyate. Okay, so knowledge is attained. Yeah, without going into too much detail, we know etad jnanam. These are in samanadikaranam, right? So which knowledge? This knowledge. So this is etad. This is a Manas-śabdha, right? Meaning this. Okay, so this knowledge is attained. Okay, now let's spend time with manobihi. Okay, what is my pratipadika for manobihi? Manas, sakaranta. So sakaranta, napumsakalinga, Manas-śabdha. Supratyaya, bihi, we know, yeah. we know ta bhyam bis. Right? So we know that it's that 3-3. We see that bihi. So we're going to say that it's 3-3. And vibhakti artha. What's the meaning of the vibhakti? The meaning of the vibhakti, we're in karmani prayoga. So when we're in karmani prayoga, the karta can be said in the third case, right? So I would say kartari tritiya tu prapyate. So this knowledge is attained by the minds plural. Okay. Okay, our time is up. I didn't give time for someone to do the next example. Okay, so we'll have to see more examples in the next class. We'll go to our next shabda as well when we're looking at this. Okay, just quickly we can though, right? Mama gurum shirasa namami. Namami, I salute. So aham namami, right? We have to add aham, that's not on there. So aham namami, I salute. I salute who? Mama gurum. So I salute the guru. Guru second case. So I salute the guru. Who's guru? Mama guru, right? Sixth case. So I salute my guru. Shirasa. Manas-śabdha 3-1. Right? You see that at the end. So this could be karane tritiya, maybe, right? There's an instrument of saluting. So I salute my guru with the head, by the head. Sounds funny, but we know exactly what it means, right? By my head, I salute my guru. Okay. All right, with that, we'll wrap up here. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.